According to Business Dictionary, a social system is an organization of individuals into groups of structures that have different functions, characteristics, origins, and status. Social systems are something that have been used across the world throughout all of time to place individuals into certain categories. Although each civilization has its own type of social structure system, Mexico and India might have some of the most interesting points when it comes to the way that they organize individuals in society. In both urban Mexico and India, caste systems is what their social organization systems were called. These caste systems played a significant role in shaping these two countries by socially categorizing people based on their race, gender, and socioeconomic status. Although these two systems were alike, they also demonstrated a lot of differences. In Mexico, the main points of discrimination were based around religion and socioeconomic status and race. When Spain began colonizing Mexico, when the caste system began a big deal. Pure blood was very, very important to determine the place that someone was in the caste system. The farther away you were from pure blood, the lower you were. The only way that someone could have completely pure blood is if they were 100% Christian and Spanish descent, meaning they were not born from a multi-race sexual relationship. As colonization progressed and the population increased, relationships between race became a more common thing. Spain was able to control the people of Mexico because of its caste system. They could easily force jobs from people that required them to do a lot more work and receive a lot less pay. This is where socioeconomic status came into play. People that were higher up in the caste system had a lot more money and were much more financially stable without really having a lot to work for. The title of this photograph is Up the Corridor of Mexican House. You can see that this is showing a higher part of the caste system in Mexico. That can be easily seen from the details and size of this Mexican house. You can't really see characteristics of the man in the picture, but you can expect that he is probably of pure lineage if he is high up on the caste system, if he lives in the house. Another thought is that he could work for the person who owns his house, in which case he would be lower in the caste system. Although if the man was a tenant here, he probably would not be seen like some value. The colonizers had somewhat of a hatred for these natives, and if they were sold to them, they were expected to do a lot of different things. This photograph is titled Topics Mexicanos Estado de Mexico. At first glance, you can easily see that it shows a different side of the caste system in Mexico. These workers are obviously much lower when it comes to their place in social organization in Mexico. These men are obviously part of the working class and likely have a very low socioeconomic status because if you look close enough, you can see that they are wearing any shoes, which had to have been difficult when dealing with livestock and crops. One of the saddest points of colonization in Mexico is the way that Spaniards viewed the natives. As soon as they began colonization, they forced all the original classes that had already existed to be pushed down dramatically. The higher classes were dominant, and the common people were reduced to the status of slavery. This was because the Spanish colonizers thought they were so much better and more worthy than the natives. The natives were forced into doing hard labor work, and it was said that the Spaniards would have rather died than do the jobs that were given to the natives. Overall, it was a big competition and frank between the colonizers in the area, and they tried very hard to make sure that the natives knew their place in the new caste system that they had created. During British colonization, there were several caste systems in India. Caste systems are still in use today in India. However, during colonization, the British heightened the caste systems to make sure that they had control over India. The caste system separated people by social and economic class, and there were four primary parts of this system of organization. The highest underneath the gods were the priests. Second were the warriors and nobles. Third were the farmers and traders and archons. And lastly were the tenants and farmers and the servants. There was also a group of Indian people called Dalits, are known as the Untouchables. This group of people is outside of the caste system and is considered suppressed and broken. The Dalits receive extreme criticism and discrimination. People higher up in the caste system were wealthy and powerful and classified themselves as more prestigious than people falling among the lower class systems. This picture is titled Comfortable Cusabes and was written by William Johnson. After learning about the British colonization and the Indian caste systems, I would say this picture is a great portrayal of two social groups amongst each other in India during the time period. I would say that the man in this photo belongs to the Kshatriyas caste. At first glance, you would notice the man in the woman's clothing attire. The gentleman's attire implies that he is of the upper class, as the lady's attire appears that she's a living worker. The area surroundings in this picture implies that the man is most likely wealthy. The man appears to be lighter than the woman, and that suggests that he's of British descent. This picture is titled Bengal Nagar Railway Construction. In this picture, a class of people, mainly men, working on the Indian Railroad. There are homes near constructions that are extremely nice, but they hold shelter for railroad workers and their families. I believe that this picture portrays the Sundra caste system. Although building a railroad is something that does take skill and does not require too much actual knowledge, this was the type of hard labor that was given to people of lower class. These workers were pretty much forced into doing this job based on where they were on the caste system. After discussing different aspects of different caste systems and viewing these pictures that depicted some of these differences, I hope you have a good idea of what social organization was like during the colonization of both Mexico and India. Sadly, caste